Hey guys, as you can tell from the title of this video, I will be talking about my experience on my Nexplanon. I've been on it for about a year, and personally I am very interested in listening to other people's experiences on birth control, and I think it's important to explore your options and do research. And again, I am very interested in hearing other people's experiences, so I thought I'd share mine on the Nexplanon. First, I'll be talking about why I got on Nexplanon, and the reason why I got on Nexplanon is because before Nexplanon, I was on the pill, and with the pill, you have to remember to take it every day, and I just got bad at it. And even if I set an alarm, I still would forget, whether I forgot to bring the pill with me or just didn't have it on me at the time, or would just go about my day and be like, oh shoot, I forgot to take my birth control. And then it also led to me taking too many after pills, and that was just bad as well. So I got on Nexplanon because it is lower maintenance. Mine is good for 3 years, so I still have about 2 years left until I have to either change my birth control or get it again. I'm going to be talking about the insertion and what's kind of happened since then, and my symptoms and all that jazz. I do want to add, they did make me take a pregnancy test before getting my insertion for Nexplanon, because when I had tracked my, I wouldn't say period, I would say I was bleeding quite a bit during that time because I was so irregular about taking the pill and then also taking the morning after pill here and there. So they had me take a pregnancy test because the doctor thought I might be pregnant. I don't know if they just do that with everyone, so they might make you take a pregnancy test. I don't know if that is normal or not. So the day I got my Nexplanon, I remember going into this room and they had me sit on a chair. It was kind of leaning back, and I think I had my arm either like this or like this. And usually I like to watch them put in the needle. Whenever I get my blood drawn, I like to watch, just because, I don't know, to see if they seem like they know what they're doing. But I had watched videos about the insertion of the Nexplanon, and I saw the device that puts it in, and the needle just looked really thick and intimidating, and this is coming from a diabetic, so I looked away. To me, the best way I can explain what it looks like, it's shaped like a stapler, but the top part looks like it slides. That is the best way I can explain what it looks like. They disinfected the area, and I remember when they had put it in, it hurt more than what I was used to, but it wasn't like unbearable. It was like, oh, this hurts more than what I expected. But I'm obviously made it out alive. I wasn't like crying or anything, but it did hurt more than what I usually planned. I would say the pain on a scale of 1 to 10 was probably like a 6 or a 7. That sounds like it's real painful, but I assure you it's not horrible. And then after the insertion, honestly, I don't remember too much after, if they even gauzed it or anything. I think I was just like, oh my gosh, it happened. And yeah, everything after that is kind of like a blur after the insertion and I left. So the symptoms I had after Nexplanon, the first thing that I like really noticed was my chest, or my breasts were a lot fuller and swole to the point that they would hurt really, really bad, more than what I used to. I did also have cramps, but at the time I think I also had infections, so I can't necessarily say it was from the Nexplanon. I know one of the biggest curiosities about birth control is how it affects your emotions. And for me, I am just an emotional person in general. And I want to say after I got my Nexplanon, I was also going through some difficult life changes. So it is hard for me to say if my birth control made me emotional or if I was just going through it at the time. And honestly, maybe it could be a bit of both. And yeah, I feel like that isn't very helpful, but um yeah, at the time I was going through some stuff, and I'm also very emotional person, so I can't say that the cause of it was Nexplanon or if it made it worse. I know a lot of people are curious about if the Nexplanon made me gain weight, and for me personally, I can't say it made me gain weight, but I have gained weight since I've gotten my Nexplanon. I had a job that required me to be active, and so for first few months, 3 months, I didn't see a fluctuation in my weight. I was pretty much the same weight, but I want to say around maybe 5 to 6 months, I started noticing my weight go up. I don't know if that is normal, but I haven't worked at my job since January, so I can't solely say that it's my Nexplanon. I also am taking some other medications that might be making me hold in my fat or making me gain weight as well. And so not being as active and just other medication also can have a factor in my weight gain. And so I can't solely say it's from Nexplanon, if that makes sense. Now I want to talk about the bleeding that has happened since getting my Nexplanon. The first 2 months of being on Nexplanon, absolutely no bleeding. And I remember in December, so my third month of being on Nexplanon, I had bleeding that happened. And I thought that was so weird, and I was like, this is more than just spotting, but I wasn't really sure. The blood was really dark. I actually went to the ER because I was scared there was blood in my urine, and that is a really, really bad sign. And to be fair, I also think I had a UTI or a bladder infection at the time, so I was like, oh crap, this isn't good. I go over to the ER and they do run a whole bunch of tests on me because at first they were like, no, it's your period. But then they were like, actually, there was a little bit of blood in your urine, so we're just gonna run more tests. They come back and they just tell me, yeah, you're on your period. Your body is just trying to, I guess, recognize the birth control and it's still confused. So that happened. But since December, I haven't had one period, so that has been really, really nice. Don't have to worry about the bleeding. And I really hadn't had any spotting either since December or the 3-month mark. There was my experience though. I hope that it was helpful. Obviously, please, 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 please talk to your doctor about the birth control options that are available to you and do your research, please. And I'll do my best to answer any questions you guys may have, but I think it'll honestly be better if you just go to a doctor, maybe even see multiple doctors, talk to multiple people, do your research before getting on birth control in general, especially if you're not planning or looking into getting pregnant anytime soon, especially with the laws that the US have in place. I would definitely recommend getting on birth control, whether it's on Nexplanon or not. I personally have no real big complaints except for my boobs hurt a lot on Nexplanon. But I think Nexplanon is really great for someone who is looking for something more low maintenance. So yeah, there is my experience. I hope that was helpful.